All right, folks, are you chasing strangers, just throwing money in a dumpster fire of ads that's not generating results? I have an expert on using customer experience to double, triple a business. We're going to talk about how they actually helped one business double in 3 months. I've got Jason Friedman from the CX Formula. Jason, say hi.
Hey, man.
And we're going to talk about reverse engineering the customer script, the three big things that you need to do to really boost your customer experience, the false assumption that the customers are committed, the fact that you're overwhelming your customers when they first are onboarded, and you're probably causing fight or flight, which is killing you and killing their expectations, and how to really find those holes in the bucket of customer experience that can start helping you make more money, have improved raving fans, and double, triple, quadruple your business without throwing more money at ads. All this on the Garlic Marketing Show, but this is brought to you by videocasestory.com. Once you have that great customer experience, you need to get video case stories. Go to videocasestory.com where you can learn how to collect, craft, and deliver those. All right, let's get started.
My name is Gino Wickman. I was introduced to Ian, and that's what brought me into this video world and got me embracing this video world. And Ian did exactly what I hoped. He got me really comfortable with putting videos out to the world and having a great strategy around putting videos out to the world, because there's so much more than just shooting a video. And so the way that he positions those videos, optimizes those videos, he's done a great job.
Right. It's one of those things, like we were talking before, it's everyone goes for the marketing. They want the leads. They want all the Facebook ads that get the 20-cent leads, and they don't spend any time in their gold mine that is their customers, do they?
No, man. Like, we spend all of our time chasing strangers. And when we finally get a stranger to say yes, what do? We turn our focus back to find more strangers. And we need to flip the funnel, right? Like, we have to start focusing on the people that said yes to us. And how do we help them get create those video case stories, right? That's the critical thing.
Well, and like you said, and we talked about before, word of mouth, right? People are excited, they're happy. And also not just that, we're running the Profitable Agency Summit, the Pause Summit right now. A lot of the people we're talking about this, the best way to get $100,000 client is take a $20,000 client, make them into a $100,000 client.
100%, right? Lifetime value.
And that's a lot cheaper than trying to go chase a $100,000 client with just marketing. So cxformula.com is the website. And, and you've got an awesome gift. Tell me about that gift.
Yeah. So it's a PDF. And so I'm not going to tell you 100% about it. I want you to actually go and check it out. Right. But there's a strategy that I have in this PDF. It'll take you less than 10 minutes to go through it. And it's going to ask you this big question. Once you're asked this question, it will change how you think about your business. And I'm going to give you some actionable strategies that you can then use to implement this in your business. It's at gift.cxformula.com/garlic. So definitely go check it out. And when you download it, don't let it sit on your hard drive. Like, go through it, because it's going to give you some mind-blowing stuff to do in your business.
I think it's this stuff is just so important for every single person. And, I work with a lot of agencies now, and they don't invest in account management, but also, I know law firms, they don't invest in this experience, and they don't think they need to. And I'm like, dude, this is where I've referred so many people to law firms because I've worked with lawyers, and then I hear back how poor the customer service was. It doesn't matter how great you're of an attorney you are. It doesn't matter how awesome you are at Facebook ads. If they don't have a great experience, it doesn't matter.
Well, people don't understand. Experience, they think that experience is something you do. Experience is something people have, right? It's the result of all the things you do. Mm-hmm. And it's how people feel about their journey, their interactions with your business. And so if you're not making people feel special and cared for and understood, they are going to not love you, right? They're not going to want to do business with you. And it's such a missed opportunity, right? So we like to help people understand that journey, because we believe that most of us make it really hard to do business with our companies.
Yes.
And we add so much friction, so many blocks, obstacles, barriers to success, that each of those moments, we win or lose customers in moments, not in the whole journey, in the moments along the journey. And so we might think that the outcome's going to be great, but if they don't get to the outcome because we put all these obstacles in their way, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Yes. No, exactly. And also you can get them the best results in the world. If they don't feel it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, and I think it starts out by understanding what the right result is, right? Like, I use this analogy, like if someone comes to, and if I'm a weight loss coach, right? Or a fitness coach, and someone says to me like, what is the result that your customers want? They want to lose 20 pounds. I'm like, no, the result is they want to feel better in their skin. They want to feel good going in their closet, that they know that there's clothes that fit them. They want to feel comfortable going out with their friends and hanging out and feeling confident. That's the result. The way we get the result is by them losing 20 pounds and fixing their mindset. But it's not the ultimate result. And when you start to shift that, that's where like this ideal testimonial comes in, right? We call it the ideal customer script. What we have people do, and I know you do this too, which is amazing, is we have them write out in an ideal world, what would a customer, how would they describe their journey, the whole process that they had going through their experience with their business? Because if you can script that, then we can actually reverse engineer the journey and have them go through it. I was telling you before when we were talking, like my background's in theater, right? Mm-hmm. And so I learned this kind of the Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off, sand the floor way, right? It's like I did theater for 25 years.
Wow.
And what you realize is that when an audience comes into the theater, they're all like, their day is still with them. Like all the bad stuff that happened, maybe the good stuff, but they're like distracted. But when the lights start to fade and the music starts, all of a sudden they get quiet and they start to focus in. And then when we want to get them to this place, we want them to have this transformation, we have a script. And the script has all these things associated with it. We have sets, lights, sound, props, actors. We have different ways that they rehearsed all these scenes. And night after night, with a different audience, we get laughs in the same spot. We get sobs in the same spot. We get applause in the same spot. We get that roaring standing ovation at the end. It's not an accident. It is designed that way to consistently deliver that experience, that transformation, time and time again. And we help people put that in their business. So when you script that video case story or you have that ideal customer script, we reverse engineer it. We actually have the script, the process that they go through. We're building an operating system that delivers delighted customers automatically for you over and over again. And then that becomes the marketing that you use to take strangers and bring them into customers. And that's how you get that compounding effect and you start to scale your business.
Yeah, it's amazing that this is such a core piece of business. And I just don't understand why do you think we chase the strangers and don't focus on this?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, most people out there, especially in the online space, are teaching you how to get more customers.
Yeah.
We believe that the answer is to sell our way out of our problems. And there's some truth that like more revenue will help you solve some problems. But if it's like, I think about it like this, right? If I have a product on Amazon on a page and everybody, let's say people go in there, but only one out of every 100 buys that product. The one answer is get lots and lots more people to go there. And then 1 out of 100 is going to buy it. Or I could fix the page. I could optimize the story, the information about the product. I could have raving testimonials from clients who use that product and got massive results from it. And if I fix that first, then every person that I send there, I'm going to start getting maybe 50 people that hit the page buy it or 70 people that hit the page buy it. We optimize the wrong thing first, and it's a problem. And that's what everybody's teaching. There's an assumption that we kind of know how to handle our customers, and we don't.
No.
And we look at it from the perspective of the business. Rarely do we step into our customer's shoes and actually shop our own experience and see what it's like to be our customer. Because when you do, you'll find out that the littlest things make it really hard and frustrating, and it stops us dead in our tracks as a customer from getting the results that we want.
This is marketing, right? And this is where I think a big problem with just marketing in general is everyone thinks of marketing as leads. I'm like, the best people you need to market to are your current customers. right? And you need to be marketing to them and giving them a great customer experience. And I love the idea of painting the picture of what it's going to be like, the customer journey, because most people think, like, I think you made some really big point there. Most people think of the customer journey from the point of the business.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're going to opt in here. And then we're going to send them this email, and then they're going to go fill this out. And like you said, they make it too difficult. So, okay, I'm painting this customer journey, but that's a big thing. I think you need some coaching. I think you need to talk to someone like you about it. But what are some of the things that, like, the biggest mistakes you see in customer experience now? And, like, tell me a little bit, like, about maybe some of the businesses that you work with and how you fix that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's so many issues again. So, like, the first one is, like, really looking at the ways we make it hard. So if someone's starting out with you, right? Let's say that they sign up to work with you. They actually have an intention, not a commitment. They actually haven't committed yet. You have to earn that commitment from them right out of the gate. And so we have buyer's remorse. We have all these cognitive biases, all these things that are going on in our head psychologically that are kind of stopping us from actually, like, we want to prove that it's not going to work more than we want to prove that it is going to work. And so we're fighting that battle in the beginning. So we have to consistently be, like, marketing, like you said, to our clients and helping them have success, earning that commitment. And so I'd say the first mistake I see is that people assume that when a customer buys something from them, they are committed to working through to get that result. And I would argue that they only have an intent. And so we have to earn that commitment and garner that commitment from our customers.
Yes.
That's the first part. I think the second thing is that we believe that, like, when we onboard a client, that we have to give them every bit of information known to man to set all these, like all the clarity that we possibly can. And what we end up doing in that onboarding experience, most of us, is we overwhelm. We give them housekeeping, logistics, lots of details that are not necessarily important in the moment. And we don't think about how do we bite-size the information to not overwhelm people when they come in. We need to make it a positive experience for them. And so we think about onboarding as a way to welcome people into the transition in a relationship. And a relationship with customers in your business, there's probably lots of those transitions to a deeper relationship or to a different phase of the relationship. And so every time there's a change in that relationship, we need to think about how do we onboard them and welcome them to that next stage, and how do we do it in a way that's conducive to the customer from their perspective, so that we're not overwhelming them, but we're supporting them.
Yes, because it's true. And I think because so many of our businesses are becoming so much more complex, right?
Sure.
And like, I know, and it's the curse of the expert. Everything seems so simple to us because we're doing it all the time. And then someone comes in, and I just know from, like, law firms, or, I mean, I've done this, or doctors, and you just don't know what's going on. I just went to a new doctor's office. It's like, who do I talk to? Where do I go? I literally got lost leaving in the building. Like, in the office, I got lost, right? And it's kind of scary. I'm like, am I going to be stuck in this doctor's office the rest of my life? So
that's not a good feeling.
No. But and then, you freeze up and you're scared, and it's a fight or flight response. And
exactly.
That's what we generate our clients.
We do. We put them in that situation where they feel that they have to make a live or die decision, right? It's not that positive thing. So the reptilian brain goes into action, like you're saying, and that's not what we want. We want them feeling good. And as you think about all these experiences, it's like the bar is pretty low, right? And so if you think about, like, our expectations, whether you set and manage, here's the third thing, right? Whether you set and manage an expectation for your clients, they actually have one. So you can choose to actually set them, or you can just be stuck with whatever their expectation is. And so what I help our clients, like, understand is, how do we actually paint a picture for our clients and set expectations and then manage them through the process so that we're building trust. When you actually do what you say, people start to trust you. And so you also, you're fighting, like, that cognitive bias, like that preconceived notion, for example. So, like, when you go to a doctor's office, what do you expect? I'm going to sit in the waiting room for an inadvertently, a long time. Then I'm going to go into the room, the exam room, and I'm going to sit there and wait for a long time. They're going to come in, they're going to be distracted, they're going to spend 2 minutes with me, and then they're going to leave, right? Like, that's kind of what we expect. And so what happens when your appointment's at 10 a.m. and you get there and they actually take you at 10 a.m. and the doctor's there?
Yeah.
You're like, wow, this is different. And then the doctor actually asks some questions and is fully present with you.
Yeah.
And is like having a dialogue and actually like diagnosing you and learning about you, and like is personable and like gets to know a couple things about you. So like, cause you're an actual human being, not just a specimen in a petri dish. Like that's a whole different experience of doctor that most of us don't know. So when you have that experience and anybody ever says like, who's your doctor? Like, you got to go to this person. So get this. I went into the waiting room and like at the time I was supposed to have an appointment, the doctor actually saw me. And people are like, holy cow, I want that doctor. Wait, it gets better. When I was in there, he actually like spent time with me and made me feel like a human being instead of like some like petri dish thing that he was like examining for a second while he was then going to talk to my insurance company because I'm not actually in charge of my own healthcare. Like people are like, oh my gosh, I want that to be my doctor, right? That's a choice. We can do that for all of our businesses.
It is.
It's easy. It's easy to do it. It just takes the thought. It takes looking at what that journey is. And so if you know what the customer's expectations are, you have an opportunity to change those expectations, to manage those expectations, and to fulfill on expectations and help them have a better experience, help them get the results they want. We have an opportunity every single moment, every interaction, there's an opportunity.
Yes. And you have to design those. And I'm excited about it because I believe in this, and you're excited about it because you believe in it. But also, let's talk dollars, because that's what, everyone, I think that's, everyone's selling out the $1 million, $100 million offers, right? But I think this is where the money is. I mean, but what are some of the successes you've seen of people who have taken this approach?
I'm going to give you a very basic example, right? So I work with businesses of all shapes and sizes. My focus today in this day and age is entrepreneurs. I love helping entrepreneurs grow and scale their business, small businesses. That's where I want to spend all my time. And I've got lots of experience with big Fortune 100s, Fortune 1000s, institutions, you name it. And they're awesome. But my people are entrepreneurs, right? Yeah. And so I was working with a driving school, right? 6-hour behind the wheel, help your teenager learn how to drive, driving school. They were doing about $300,000 a year in annual revenue. Not a lot, right? No. They came in and we went through their experience. And the very first part of their experience was stopping clients from saying yes to them, right? What was that? That was the phone. They were not answering their phone. They had everybody leaving a voicemail message. And so here's the thing. You're Googling driving school near me, and there's 10 options that pop up on the screen. You start with the one that maybe has the most positive reviews, and you call, and they don't answer the phone. What do? You go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. If I left a voicemail for the first one and they don't answer the phone, I say, okay, great, here's my information. Then I go to the next one because I just want to get this off my plate, and I want to get it done. And they're regulated. They have a specific process. 6 hours in my mind. 6 hours is 6 hours. I haven't even gotten into the marketing. I'm just trying to solve that problem. Yeah. And so with this school, we started to just answer the phone and help people right then and there. We took them from $300,000 to $600,000 in less than 3 months.
Wow.
Right? That's doubling their business. Now, here's the thing. We also did a bunch of other things. We learned how to explain better about their services. We cleaned up their website so that it actually spoke about the issues that the customers have. We explained why their price being higher than their other competitors made sense, because how do you afford the better insurance? How do you have well-maintained vehicles? How do you have trained instructors? If they're the lowest price, they can't afford to do those things. And so all of a sudden, their business started to grow. And then over the next 6 months, they started to go even bigger. And so that's just one very simple example. There was a friction point right in the beginning that was stopping people. And the news is today, your competitors are less than one click away. With one click on Google, 10 of your competitors are on there. I don't have to click anymore. I don't have to do other searches. They're right there. Mm-hmm. They're right there. Yes. And so you have to do this, right? What did it cost to bring someone in to answer the phone? It was another employee, but was it worth that employee to double your business? Heck yeah. Right? It was. It's not a big deal. right?
That was just what, 3 months you said?
3 months.
And yeah, I mean, and I'm sure like that's the compound effect too of this, right? Like you were saying, then and 6 months later, and now
Right.
and what?
Here's
Go ahead.
Here's the crazy thing. Let me just say one more thing. And
Yeah.
so when this guy came to me, he actually wanted help with Facebook advertising, with marketing to bring more people into the funnel. And I said to him, great, let's look at your business right now. And I saw that he had a hole in his bucket, right? That's what we call it. There's a hole in your bucket. It's a leaky hole. All these people are coming in, but you're not capturing them. They're just falling out, right? And so when we plugged that up, now when he started putting more dollars into bringing traffic in, all of a sudden it started working because we fixed that piece, right? Because that was a friction point.
Yes.
And so he was about to waste more than he would have spent on that employee to not get any better results.
Yes. I see it all the time. All the time.
It's scary.
And
that's just your most basic example. I can give you tons and tons of examples. Like I've had people that they believe. So here's another one, right? People believe that they should underpromise and overdeliver, right? Makes sense. It sounds smart. You've heard that phrase all your life. Here's the problem. Chronic overdelivery is killing your business. Wait, what? Yeah. Chronically over-delivering. If all you ever do is over-deliver, what you have done is you've set an expectation that you will always over-deliver. And the second you don't, they're disappointed. And it's not over-delivery anymore. It's just it's expected. Over-delivery requires some surprise, right? It's special. It's above and beyond. If it's always if everything's a 10, then you don't recognize it's a 10 because you can't see it. You have to have a 5, 6, 7, 8 to recognize a 10. And so what we help people do is learn how to strategically over-deliver. So when we actually map out that journey and we see it all in there, we can find the moments that are more impactful to your customers. And when you find those key moments, that's where we can go a little bit heavier on that over-delivery. Now, I can have an over-delivery budget of 100%, let's say, right? And if I could spend it all in one spot, or I could sprinkle that budget out and I could over-deliver a few times and at different levels. One moment may be worth 50% of the budget, while another moment is worth 5% of the budget. And when I vary that and I keep it flowing, I'm not building an expectation that that's always there. It makes the moments special and it lands for the customer. And for us in the business, it's affordable. I can actually afford to do it without breaking the bank. And some of these things don't cost a nickel. They just cost a minute of thinking, of strategy, of how do I show up and do something cool for that customer. It could be sending them a note, an email, something special to recognize them. That's all you needed to do. Right? So it's about the strategy of that. But when we get into it, we think, oh, let me just do more. Over delivery all the time equals overwhelm. It just does. And so like I try and help people like really look at it through that lens of the customer again. But as we're looking at the journey, you can see it's like if music was always, it never got quiet. It was always loud. You'd shut it off. It's too much. You need that dynamic range. And so we like to help people look at that and look at the emotional roller coaster ride that our customers are going on. How do we help them feel really great? Well, they have to feel good in order to recognize great. Otherwise, they don't recognize it. It's just information, right? And if you want people to give you those great testimonials, those great, case stories, then what you need to do is if you want people to talk about you, you have to give them something that's talk aboutable, right? It has to be exciting. And the only things that are talk aboutable are if they suck or they're awesome. Everything in the middle is irrelevant. Yeah. And so we have to find those moments to make those awesome moments and also have them recognize those moments as awesome. And so when you map out this journey and you start to build it out and craft it and choreograph it, all of a sudden that's where, like in the theater, we can get that laughter because we spend a little time setting it up so that we get the payoff and we can get that set of applause because it's scripted. It's part of the journey they go on. It's not accidental. It's intentional.
Hmm. And when you say scripted over deliver, where's one place that people could really quickly go, hey, I'm going to go over deliver there and it'll make a bigger impact?
Yeah. I mean, I think every business is a little bit different, but I can tell you that in the very beginning, if you can do something that'll wow people in the beginning, we call this time to first value, right? How do you create a massive amount of value in the shortest amount of time? If you can shrink the time from when they said yes to you to when they perceive a win, you will retain a customer.
Yes.
And so that's an opportunity to do some kind of over delivery, or even just enough like specific delivery, but point out that the win to them in some way so that they recognize that win. The shortest amount of time that you can do in the beginning to get that, that's going to be huge for you. And then keep the wins coming. You have to have a win cadence, right? Like we call it the flow channel. We want clients to be in that flow channel where they're winning and they're kind of getting sucked up into it so that they're moving in a positive direction towards that ideal result. And the more that you can help them have a win and recognize the win. Like as entrepreneurs, it's like we can have something amazing happen to us in our business. We're like, awesome. And then we're on to the next thing. Yep. We don't spend a minute to sit in that. Wow. Like that was pretty darn awesome. Sometimes you need a friend or a colleague or a buddy or mastermind member or whatever to kind of point it out and be like, dude, that was amazing what you just did. And you're like, holy, actually that was pretty cool, right? We don't recognize the wins sometimes ourselves. We're moving too fast. Life is happening and we just kind of miss it. And so part of our job as like the ambassador for our customers, right? That liaison, that concierge, the guide that's taking them on the journey is sometimes like, in Star Wars, like the guide has to tell Luke, like, hey, guess what? You just actually made some progress. Check it out. Spend a minute. And so if we think of our customers as the heroes and us as the guides, it's our job to kind of recognize them for having the success all along the way.
Yep.
And so we got to find ways to do that.
Yeah. I mean, the first big win is always a question I ask when we're talking about customer stories. Like, when was that first win? Because the transformation is big, but especially if you have a long process, right? If
Totally.
If you're a marketing agency, if you're a law firm, if you're a business consultant, sometimes it takes 6 months for things to really start working. Where can you point out that big win to make them feel good about what's going on? And it's so important, so important. And I want to, we have to have you come back because this has been amazing. And I think this is one of the most important things. But tell us what it's like to work with you. Who works with you, and how? Like, what do they do? How do you? What it's
like? I think it's amazing to work with us. But we kind of have to have it be amazing to work with us, right? Because we're teaching people how to do this. So we have to walk the walk. So we really do walk the walk. And what's fun when you get to work with us is that we have this kind of meta experience, right? So we try and do all the things we're teaching you. And then we try and say, hey, wait, let's pull back the curtain. Let's have a meta moment where I can show you behind the scenes what we just did. So it's kind of fun because you get that Mr. Miyagi experience where it's kind of happening, but then we point out, hey, look, you can actually, do the crane maneuver, right? As we go through it. So we have basically two ways that people can work with us. We do these 3-day immersion workshops where people can come in. We bring in a small group. It's only 10 companies can be there. And we usually have like the owner, founder, entrepreneur, maybe partners come with a couple team members. So we have 3 people per company max. And we love you to have your team there because it's a team experience. Like this is a team sport. And then when you go home, you bring it back to the rest of your team and we give you tools to train them and teach them. But in 3 days, we'll help you kind of understand, learn all this stuff. We'll map out one of your journeys completely and you'll leave with an actionable plan to put it in place and start seeing the results. And people get results very quickly. The second way you can work with us is we have an online training course that is literally launching in just a few weeks. We were talking about that before the show, so I'm super excited about that. And so we've been teaching the same stuff for 30 years. We've refined it. The workshops have been consistently refining it, and now we have this kind of like do it on your own. So it's going to probably take you 6 to 8 weeks to go through it, unless you do it like an immersion experience like we do in the office. But if you do it kind of normally, probably 6 to 8 weeks to go through it. We have coaching for you along the way and then beyond. And it's the same thing. We'll send you some cool tools in the mail and the things that you need. But we want you to go through your journeys and really understand it. So you'll learn how to identify who your customers really are. And we use theater tricks. We're going to teach you how to get into character. Like if you were Matthew McConaughey playing that character on film, and all of a sudden as the audience, you're like, oh my God, that's not Matthew McConaughey. You believe he's actually that other person. We're going to show you how to understand your clients like that so that you can become your client and you can step through the journey like them. So we go through that. We script those ideal testimonials. We call them the ideal customer scripts, your video case stories, so that they know what they are. And then they can work with people like you to actually build these out and make these things amazing. And then we have the whole mapping process. We teach you how to do this and we map out all your journeys. So we look at all the journeys that you have. We use Disney as an example, actually. I know you're down there. And so if you imagine like Disney World has multiple theme parks, right? There's Magic Kingdom, there's Epcot, there's, Animal Kingdom, all those. And then within Magic Kingdom, there's 5 lands, right? And then within the lands, there's different attractions. We want you to find the attraction. We're going to go that's the smallest level of a journey. And all those little journeys add up to make the journey for the land, and then make the journey for the theme park, and then make the journey for the business. And so we're going to help you identify all those journeys. Then we're going to pick the most important one for you to start with. And we're going to map that entire journey out. And then we're going to analyze it. We're going to find the friction. We're going to reduce or remove the friction. We're going to add momentum to it so that we can help people move through it with ease. Like it's like a water slide and they're moving through it flawlessly. And then we're going to actually get really clear on how you put this into practice and how you get this to happen. And so we've been working with, I told you, we've been doing this with Fortune 100s, Fortune 1000s for years. Yeah. We've been working with entrepreneurs for the last several years since we sold that business and our non-compete expired. And we're all in. We're all in on entrepreneurs. So if you've got a small business, you're an entrepreneur and you're ready to scale it, and you're tired of just throwing all your money at strangers, and you really want to make word of mouth be this like thing where people really, we think of it as, how do we turn our customers into people who rave about our business, who return to buy more products and services, who renew their subscriptions and their memberships, and who actively go out and recruit other people. They will become an active sales force for your business because they can't stop themselves from telling everybody about their experience. That's real. That can happen. It's a choice. And we like to help people that make that choice, make it happen.
I love it. I love it. And so you go get the gift, and I'm sure then there's contact information there for you.
Yeah, there's totally contact information. And dude, I want to hear, like, if you guys use the gift that I gave you, I want to hear about it. I want to hear about how you use it, because the strategy that's in there will literally change the game for you. I promise you. It will.
And where would you like to hear about it on social media? Where should they post their win?
Yeah, I mean, you can, if you go to our website, cxformula.com, all of our social channels are on there. You can hit us up on any one of them. And soon you're going to be helping us with our YouTube channel, so it's even better too. So don't look at it yet. Don't look at it yet.
But it will be awesome. Jason, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show. And, folks, make sure to follow Jason. Well, don't go to YouTube yet. I know he's on LinkedIn. We'll put a link to all that in the show notes. Make sure to go get that gift. This is so important. So important. Do this. You have to do this. Jason, thanks again for being on the Garlic Marketing Show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
And thank you all for taking Jason and I on our journey. It's been on Garlic and the Garlic Marketing Show.